this is Dee.
And this is Shelby.
And we're from Bxtch, Please. Welcome back to another episode.
Episode
17.
Look at us go.
Look at us
Consistency.
We're close to 20.
I know. How wild is that?
I know. I feel like we should, I don't know, do something.
Do something for episode 20?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm down.
Something. I don't know.
I'm down. Episode 20. We should do something for episode 25.
Okay.
And then do something for episode 50 and then 100 and then go from there.
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, so before we get started, how are your screws? Yeah.
They're okay.
Yeah.
They're okay. They're, I think last episode I was like, people are going to start quitting.
Yeah.
People are quitting.
People are quitting?
People are quitting.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, I'm a little, I know I'm ovulating because I'm back at that. I want to eat, fuck, and all that other good shit.
Yeah.
So that's just where I'm at. I also want to sleep.
Yeah.
No,
I get it.
What about you? Where are your screws at?
They're okay. They were better today, but the whole thing with the setup was just really getting to me. So it's podcasting. Ting, ting, ting.
So speaking of podcasting, we just keep having technical difficulties tonight. I can't even speak.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get through this episode like a regular schmegular episode, and everything sounds good. So podcasting by ourselves is a bitch. We don't have a whole production team. So when you watch these YouTube videos and these YouTubers and all that other shit, most of the time they have a whole production team with them for multiple cameras and stuff like that. We don't have that. So we are doing our very best.
Yes.
We are just out here doing our very best.
With what we have.
I just needed to get that off my chesticles.
Yeah.
Because I have pizza rolls in the freezer and that's what I want to eat right now. And just, keep it moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah, I forgot I was talking about my screws, but
yes,
please. I was going to say, because you mentioned the thing about podcasting. That's literally what I was going to talk about, so
did I just steal your thunder?
No, you didn't steal my thunder, because I had already started talking about it, but yeah, yes, that's where my screws are.
That's where they are. Yeah, understand that. Okay. So, our topic for today is going to be about just the fact that Deidre and I were having a little chat.
Our coochies.
It really is. Just women coochie in general. Yeah. But the fact that actually...
Or people with coochies.
Yeah. Or people with coochies.
Yeah, people with coochies.
I like that. Yeah. That sounds better. Thank you.
Sorry. Honey Pot, their products, if you look at their writing on it, it says made by people with vaginas for people with vaginas.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Isn't that cute?
Shout out Honey Pot. Please sponsor us. Anyways. But Dee and I were talking about it, and we didn't really know about our anatomy until we got much older, and I think that's how it is for most women. I know for sure men barely know about their own anatomy, let alone ours. Hence, all the videos and the funny reels about men, playing DJ diddles with the left flap. Facts. So we're here to kind of just talk a little bit about that and just overall women reproductive health in general.
So before we get into that, I just want to say, just kind of piggybacking off men not knowing about our bodies, which is I get it. You don't have it. I get it. Yeah. But I remember I was talking to this guy who at the time was in his 30s. I was in my 20s. And I remember he just talking, we weren't in a relationship or nothing like that. It was just a homie. He said that women can impregnate themselves. He said that women have semen. That women carry the sperm. And that the men push it in. That's why they get pregnant. I said, this is why you have a bunch of kids.
I cannot. And he had a bunch of kids?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I was like,
sir.
You need to go to somebody's school.
You need to just go to school in general.
Yeah,
just please go back to school.
Girl.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because, so I was dating a guy who didn't realize that I have 3 holes. He thought the pee just came out of the vagina. He didn't realize that there was another hole there. Didn't realize that.
So
yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm wait. So he thought when you peed, it came out of your vagina.
It came out of my vagina.
Where did he think you bled from?
The vagina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, when I asked him that question about the bleeding, it was more of like, he doesn't like to think about that. And then I was like, okay, but if you were to think about it, and he's like, I guess the same area. So let's educate some people. These are not professionals. We don't know. We know a lot about. We are not licensed in any way.
We don't have MDs.
We do not have MDs.
We do have coochies.
And we do have coochies, and we do take out uteruses all the time. So
this is facts.
So we do see a lot of shit. Yeah. Ovaries and uteruses.
That's
uteri?
True. Uteri.
Uteri.
Yeah.
Is that plural?
Sure.
Okay. Uteruses and uteri. So yes. But no, I didn't. So let me ask you, when did you start like learning more about your lady bits?
I want to say probably in my maybe 20s, maybe like my early 20s, maybe earlier than that, just from like classes and things like that when I was in school. But I don't think I really like learned a lot about it until later on, like until I was like in my 20s. Yeah. That's kind of where I can like pinpoint it to. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, I learned a lot in school, but I learned a lot of like just basic anatomy.
Yeah, okay.
Like this is the hood, here's this, here's the Mons Venus, here's this blah, 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 so on and so forth. So, but I didn't learn actually about like my own microbiome and just general vaginal health until I was 28. And then, but I actually had to go out and seek that information and read a whole book on it.
Right.
Because I had no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had to read a book.
Yeah.
And learn about it. I read a book by Dr. Jen Gunther, and it's called The Vagina Bible. And this book is literally like this thick. It's fucking huge. I don't have it, but
I'll put it in the video.
Yes.
Put it up there.
Yes.
For y'all to see.
But I learned about everything I needed to know about my vagina, my vaginal health, all of this stuff. Like, you know, I still do sometimes, but I used to use Summer's Eve all the time. And then when I started doing, like, when I read this book and I started actually looking into research, they're not even, like, clinically tested. Like...
Yeah.
You know, it talks about, like, pH and how, like, it's supposed to balance your pH and stuff like that. But I'm also, like, everybody's pH is... Different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You might have, like, a more acidic environment down there.
Yeah.
And you're using a neutral sort of, like, wash.
Yeah.
That can also fuck with your pH.
Right.
Then you add in, like, fragrances and stuff like that. Like, I used to use, it was like a blossom smell or something like that. Because I was absolutely terrified of my coochie smelling. And I would just be irritated all the time. And dry. Like, super dry.
Yeah.
And then actually maybe about a year and a half ago, I stopped using that. And I just use water. Water and a washcloth. And my shit has been the best. No yeast infections, no urinary tract infections, no nothing. And I used to get yeast infections all the time. So
it's definitely healthier that way, because a lot of that, because our bodies are kind of like the birth control conversation where they make this one thing, but it doesn't really fit everybody's body. And same with the washes. It's like your pH is going to be so different.
Yeah.
So you're trying to use these things that are kind of made in general, which it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
I will say though, like the Summer's Eve stuff that they have that's like unscented, still throws it off because it is a basic product, but I feel like without the scents, it's a little bit better.
Oh no, for sure. Like if you're gonna use anything, and that's why I said like I use Summer Eve on like occasion. Yeah. Especially when I was having like some issues not that long ago. And it does help. It's like a very gentle cleanser. It's a gentle cleanser. Yeah. It's very gentle, but I can't use it often. Yeah. Because I notice like if I use it every day, it does change. Yeah. It changes my environment down there, because that's literally like,
it's its own little like culture. The best way to say it.
It's its own little society down there.
Just doing its thing. It's self-cleaning.
It's self-regulating. Like it really is.
Yeah, it does what it needs to do on its very own. Which, speaking of self-cleaning, I want to go to talk about douches.
Yes.
So I remember like years ago, everybody was into using douches. Like everybody. And you had to use them because you didn't want to smell down there, which I just want to say that, like, everybody has their own natural smell. Yes, there is. It can smell bad, but, like, naturally, it's not supposed to smell like flowers.
No.
That's just not how your coochie's supposed to be.
No.
It's supposed to smell like healthy, I guess the best way to say it is like healthy.
It's supposed to smell like healthy coochie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's supposed to smell like healthy coochie.
Yeah. But the douche community, there was like because it was like a whole bunch of people that was like, oh, I do this every day.
A lot of women.
Really?
Yes, I know a lot of women who still do it.
I remember it was like a mass group of people that were like, yes, we're all on board, and then it was like that same group of people just stopped doing it. Yeah. And I stopped hearing about it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know people still really used them. Like, I mean, outside of us talking about it earlier, but I didn't know people still use them like that.
Yeah.
I just had no idea because everybody was like, yeah, let's kind of stop, and then people were reusing them, which gross.
Bacteria.
Horrible for your body.
It's like reusing a tampon.
Yes, which is...
Which also I know people who do. Yeah. Yes. We are not friends.
How do you reuse a tampon?
They say they reuse it on their light day. They'll take it out and they'll put it on like a little piece of toilet paper, and then when they're done showering, they'll put it back in. Ew. It's gross. Just use another one. Or done. Or panty liner. Or pad. Or free bleed. I don't know, whatever you choose. But please don't reuse them.
Yeah.
It's gross.
That is gross.
Uh-huh. But I mean, everybody's shit is different.
Yeah.
And like, the whole douching thing, like, I still know women who do that a lot. And they are like, oh, well, I use saline. Or I use this. Or I use this gentle whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. Like, and they'll use all sorts of different stuff. Some people use fragrances because they just think their coochie smells. And I'm like... When you do that, at least in my experience, whenever I've used fragrances and overly used them, it actually changes the smell.
Yeah.
And it doesn't change it for the better.
Yeah.
I don't smell like a fucking flower because it's coochie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you go up in there and you douche, the inside of your vaginal canal has that, we have our own microbiome in there. Same as we do in our digestive tract. And we have our own microbiome in there, and there are different bacteria that are good that will compete, and it becomes a competitive environment, and they will kill each other. But when they do that, they're regulating the entire environment.
Right.
So when you're going up in there, you're literally fucking flooding the whole colony and murdering everybody and all the people that are in there.
Right.
That are just trying to keep the village alive.
They're just trying to clean, mind their business.
Yeah.
And it's throwing off the balance of things.
It throws off the whole balance of things, So, anyways, we have a microbiome that's up there, and, like, you're literally, like, killing the whole fucking colony. Like, everybody in there is dying. So, it's, and everybody's is different.
Absolutely. Which makes everything so hard because what works for me may not work for you. What works for both of us may not work for you. So you got to figure out what works for you. But there are certain things that are absolutely not going to work for you. Yeah. So you got to figure out what that may or may not be.
Yeah.
Well, most of the things that are fragrant are probably not going to do it.
No. The fragrance is bad. And then can we also talk about, since we're talking about fragrance?
Yeah.
Can we also talk about this whole myth about, like, if you eat certain fruits, it changes the way you taste? It does not. That's not how it works. Eating pineapple does not change the way your coochie tastes. Drinking a whole thing of orange juice will not make your coochie taste like an orange. Your coochie just tastes the way it is because it's coochie.
Because it's coochie.
I'm just saying. This whole myth that if you eat all this shit, that's what it tastes like.
Yeah.
That's not the case. That's not the case at all. If it were to even change anything, it's going to be minuscule. And it's probably because the enzymes that are in the pineapple that might actually transmit into the proteins that are in your secretions. But that's besides the point. It's not going to be anything that's fucking, like, significant. So don't go out here eating a whole ass pineapple because your man's about to come over. Like, I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way. It's like what I was saying to you earlier. It's like, you know, if that's the case, then why is it only changing that? Why is my whole body not tasting like a fucking orange?
Right.
Why can't you just lick my skin and my sweat and I don't taste like a whole goddamn cup of orange juice?
You felt that from your soul?
Because it's these myths, and because these myths and all this shit is literally created to please a man. To please a fucking man. You're not down there eating your coochie. It's true. To please a man. Most of the time it's to please a man unless you're gay and you're into a woman and a woman's eating your coochie. But then it's still to please another person and not yourself.
Right. I feel like a lot of the things, there's a lot of stigmas and a lot of taboo when it comes to coochies and what they should be, what they should look like, what they should do, what they should smell like, a lot of times you just gotta be like your own being when it comes to your body. Yeah. Like drink your water or whatever, like do your things, but like you can't always listen to the masses about what your own body and your own biome and all that micro your whole shit. You can't see here and be listening to everybody else talking about what your shit's supposed to be in the masses, because that's not going to pertain to you.
No.
And there's a lot of other factors that cause different things, like if you're on a lot of medication.
Facts.
So, there's always going to be things that cause it to change, because like in my case, I am on a crap ton of medicine.
Yeah.
And I mean, homegirl's still cool, but you know what I mean? It's going to be different.
Yeah.
So,
and like hormone imbalances and menopause and premenopause and all of that changes different things. Now, obviously, if there is like a smell or an odor that's not supposed to be there and it's very strong, specifically like a fishy smell, which is usually linked to BV, bacterial vaginosis, then you definitely want to go get checked out.
Absolutely.
You definitely want to go. If you have weird looking discharge, stuff like that, you definitely want to go and get checked out.
And that's the other thing. Can we just talk about discharge?
Yeah.
Discharge, certain types of discharge are actually normal.
That is your self-cleaning. That is literally what it is. It is what is being ejected from your body to clean it, because your vagina
cleans itself. It needs to be able to clean itself without any interruptions.
Exactly.
No commercial breaks.
No commercial breaks.
No ads.
No floods. No quick cigarette breaks. None of that. None of it. It's just, I feel so bad for women all the time, because we have to, whether it's, cis women or trans women, we all have this stigma that we have to be a particular way, and it's usually revolves around men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It revolves around men. I mean, like, take for instance the G-spot, right? There's no such thing as a G-spot. Like, there's not one particular spot that every woman should have that is a G-spot. That's not how that works. There was the G-spot came from, I can't remember the fucking doctor's name, but if I find it, if you can just put it in.
Yeah, I can put it in there.
It came from this particular doctor, and he was actually talking about the fact that the urethra, if you go in, and it's supposed to be like if you push right underneath the bladder when you go into the vaginal canal, if you are pushed right underneath the bladder, you'll actually hit the urethra, and that urethra will do urethral rolling, which will, as it rolls, it hits the nerves, because the clit has
a crap ton of nerves.
Yes.
A crap ton of nerves. Which, super side note, but related.
Yeah.
I saw this post that was like, what was it? The clitoris has like 8,000 whatever nerve endings, and you decided to tap on a different one or something, like something with like bothering you.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so true. If you're gonna hit a nerve, hit that one.
Exactly. Hit that fucking nerve. Don't hit the rest of them.
Right.
Ain't got time.
Girl.
You just gonna piss me off.
Right. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That was good.
Funny. I wish I could find it, because it said it way differently, but it was pretty much saying like, hit the clit.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's no such thing as a G-spot. Like, there might be a spot that might hit more nerve bundles than anything, that's in there. But there's so many women that I know that are like, why don't I have a G-spot? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Why can't, and it's because we're all different and our bodies are made differently. Not everybody's made to squirt. Not everybody's made to have, enjoy penetration. Some people only prefer, clitoral stimulation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the clit, though.
Let's talk about the clit. So, okay, can we just talk about the direction of, where everything is located, right?
We should put like a little diagram.
Can we do that? It's educational.
It's educational.
Yeah, we should be able to do that. I feel like we can do that. Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. If it gets taken down, it gets taken down. Hell, we'll figure it out. So the clit is the thing that everybody always misses.
Everything.
Everything. It's right there. It's like a little bean.
It is like a little bean.
It's tucked it. Well, it depends on, see, this is the other thing. It depends on how you're built.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hidden and sometimes it's exposed. It really just depends on how you're built.
But it's right above, it's right underneath the mons.
Yeah.
It's right above where the lips open.
Yeah.
Right at the very top.
Because people are like, mons.
It's called mons.
It's called, yeah. But that thing is very important. Yes. That thing does a lot. Like we mentioned, it has a crap ton of nerve endings that cause a lot of sensation internally and externally.
Yes.
Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Nerves.
It has a crap ton of nerves. That bad boy should be the focus at all times.
The focus at all times.
All times.
At all times.
All times.
Because that is like, especially for a lot of women who don't orgasm with vaginal penetration.
Yeah.
Like that's like the main focus. Like, but the thing is with the clit is like that little bean is not just the clit. Like it is the clit, but like the nerve endings, you have the bundle that's there. And then you have all these nerves that spread out throughout that whole area, even right above the vaginal canal. So like a lot of the times even vaginal penetration is...
It's like hitting the back end of those nerves. It's hitting the
back end of those nerves. So it's just like, which is why a lot of people can orgasm with the quote unquote, or I don't want to say a lot, but some people can orgasm with the quote unquote G-spot because you go in and you actually are pushing on those nerves.
Which is so funny because I used to be a person that was like, I don't really, like penetration was cool. I always loved penetration, but I didn't used to have the same type of orgasm from clitoral stimulation as I did from vaginal stimulation.
Yeah.
But that changed.
Yes. Yes, it did.
It changed.
I like both.
I mean, I enjoy both a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like both. And I can orgasm from either or both.
Yeah.
Both at the same time is extremely intense for me. But yeah, I mean, I can do both and I enjoy both.
Yeah. Same.
You know, and it's just like that little bean that's there is actually a whole network of just for pleasure. That is literally all it's there for. Ooh, you want to know what I found out though?
Ooh.
The part of your brain that reacts to nipple stimulation is the same part that reacts to clitoral stimulation.
That makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't it?
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't it? Isn't that wild?
That is wild. Interesting.
No wonder my little nippies are so sensitive.
Yeah, I'd be like,
come touch them.
Get over here.
You're so dumb. I cannot. I just wish like women had a lot of this, and they do have a lot of resources, but I wish it was taught young.
Yeah, I'd agree. I do wish it was taught young because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's missing out on just the information about our bodies, but also how to take care of our bodies.
Exactly.
And what to do if something is going wrong with our bodies. And I feel like by the time that you figure that out, I don't want to say it's too late because when you figure it out is when you figure it out.
Yeah.
That's okay. But there are some things that are extremely important that are completely skipped because that information is not either taught because people don't want to talk about it.
Exactly.
Or they're just not around. You know, you're most of the time when it comes to talking about your reproductive parts, people don't want to talk about it.
They don't.
It doesn't matter who it is, whether it be a parent, whether it be a friend, whether it be like a relative, like an auntie or a grandma. Yeah. Most people don't want to talk about it, which is scary because you have these ideas in your head about what happens with your coochie and what you should do with your coochie, and it's not even correct.
Yeah. Like
when you get your coochie checked out.
That
you want to go to somebody who specializes in coochies. You don't want to go to a dentist. No. You don't want to go to an orthopedic surgeon. You want to go or PCP. Yes, they can do all of these things. All of these people are licensed in medical practice. Yeah, that is correct. They may have also had a rotation in gynecology. Yeah. But you want somebody who specializes in that field specifically to handle your cooch. Like I would never go to my, I don't know, ophthalmologist for my cooch or my for an orthopedic issue. I just wouldn't do that. It just wouldn't make sense. Yes, they're a doctor, but they just don't know enough about it.
Exactly.
So, but stuff like that, it gets passed down or it gets taught or doesn't get talked about, so people just ignore it.
Yeah.
And it's really important because there's so many things that can go wrong with our bodies so quickly.
Yes.
That and not even wrong in like a bad way, like a death way, but like in a way that you just need to make sure you're getting taken care of.
No,
so
absolutely.
that it doesn't progress to something worse.
Absolutely.
So get your cooches checked out.
Yeah.
Buy somebody that's licensed to do cooches.
Yes. I mean, I think that's really important because also if you have an issue, like for instance, I've gone to my gynecologist and I have talked to her about the fact that there was a point in my life where I could not produce lubricant. I could not get wet. It just wasn't happening. And I was like, she talked to me about it. Is there any pain? Is there any this? Is there any that? So on and so forth. Only to come to find out that it was probably just psychological, which is
a thing.
Which is a thing.
It is a thing.
Especially for women. It is a thing for us. So they actually did a study on women getting oh my God, what's the name for Viagra? It starts with an S.
Something
Silfidel or something like that. Anyways, it's Viagra, and it's the main the active medication that's in Viagra. And they did a study on women that the Viagra pill produces more blood flow to the clit, but they were not aroused. So like men can take it and they get a boner and they can get aroused and so on and so forth. But like for us, it's a lot more psychological. And like we need to have that foreplay, that stimulation, all of that for our coochies to get wet. It just needs to happen. So, but I went to my gynecologist and I was talking to her about this, and if I had gone to my PCP, they would not have had the more in-depth knowledge to be able to just explain these things to me.
Another myth about going to the gynecologist is that you have to be having sex in order to go.
You do not have to have sex in order to go to the gynecologist. You could be a virgin in your 40s, but you still need to go because they still need to check for cancer. They need to check for all of these other things. They need to make sure everything is working properly.
I feel like as soon as you have a cycle, you should start going to see a gynecologist.
Absolutely.
Every year.
Absolutely.
Or I think they changed it. I think it's like every 2 years.
If
you have like a normal pap, and every year if you have an abnormal.
You know why they changed it, right?
No.
Because insurance companies won't pay for that annual anymore because, well...
Unless you have like a pre-existing condition.
Yes.
That's wild.
Uh-huh.
Everything's about money.
Everything's about money.
Always
so
about
it's not
money.
about women's health. It's about the fact that...
It's never... First of all, women?
Yeah.
In America?
No.
No.
Our bodies are not our own, unfortunately.
Government owns my coochie.
Yes.
So if anybody ever asks whose pussy this is, it's the government's. It's the government's. They own it. They have all the rights, apparently.
Bro, I fucking cannot. You said that with the straightest face.
Oh, fuck.
The government owns my coochie.
It does.
It just does. It really does, though.
But
I wish they paid me for it.
Hello.
Fuck.
God.
Anyways. If you're gonna own it, you might as well pay me. But
you take me out, like goddamn. Give me a little money, son.
Right?
Like shit.
Yeah. What about that dinner?
Okay.
Gas card?
Something like, can I get a month off or something? Like hell.
Come on.
But just talking about like health and the reason why they changed the thing is, and it going back to money, is also why feminine products are taxed extra.
They are taxed extra because they are considered what?
They are considered a medical device, medical something devices.
I think it was,
Yeah, so they in, I want to say the 80s, the FDA ended up defining tampons and pads as medical devices. Mm-hmm. And that's why they were able to tax it higher than normal.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit, because for something that you can't help and something that you just go through, you should be able to get those products for free.
No, absolutely.
They should be available to you easily. I don't care where in the world that you live. There is no reason that anybody should have to do some of the things that they have to do to have feminine products. This is something that is going to happen to every person that has a vagina.
Yeah.
At some point in their life.
Absolutely.
So it's just crazy that stuff like that is taxed so heavily that it's not free. It's not available to everybody.
Yeah.
Now you choose what you want to use, whether you want to use a pawn or a pad.
Yeah.
But you do what works for you.
Or a cup. Or a free bleed. They have those new underwear.
The underwear. So when I was still... Actually, I think they had them back then. I just didn't know about them.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I found out, just because I had a surgery or whatever, is that they have these Depends that look like boy shorts.
I know.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
To have your cycle in.
Yeah.
You just wear them. They do that. It's like wearing a pad, but it's just like a more comfortable pad that's not showing. Because if you're like me, like when I used to have to wear like the big ass, like the purple pack with the big ass overnight pads with like the 4 sets of wings,
and then it like swoops through the back,
back, goes to the front, and you always would be like, "Is my pad showing? is my pad? Am I good?"
Yeah,
and you'd be like, "What about now?" You bend over. Those underwear are super cool because it allows you to not have to constantly be worrying about if it's visible or not. But now they have underwear that you can wear that do the same thing.
And wash. You
can wash them, which I don't know about all that.
I don't know about all that. I mean, I heard they're actually really great, and that a lot of it is like the fabric that they use is already antimicrobial.
Yeah.
So
which makes sense because you would want it to be, but I just like you put in a washer, you'd have to wash it by itself. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I would just wash it by hands. I wouldn't use them. That's me. That's my personal preference.
I would throw them out.
Yeah.
Like I did with like when I was wearing the Depends. I mean, they were definitely disposable. So you would get a big ass pack from Sam's Club with like 85 and it was like an 84 pack, purple, black, and beige.
Yes.
And you would just toss them.
Yeah.
I don't know about rewashing. But there's so many products and things that you can use if tampons are not your thing. You can use cups. Cups aren't my thing.
Cups are not my thing.
They creep me out. I used a cup one time and it spilled on me and I was like, absolutely the fuck not.
Never do this again.
Never again. I was so grossed out.
I also have a very heavy flow. So.
I do too. And having to, it was too much. It was just too much.
It's a lot.
And then just kind of the position you have to get in to try to put it in to make sure it's like straight enough. But if you
not crooked.
If it tilts slightly, now you're going to leak everywhere.
And you still have to wear a pad.
Yeah.
I still had to wear a pad.
I had to wear a pad. I had to wear those big ass jumbo overnight pads and a Super Plus tampon.
Yeah. Yeah.
The entire week that I was on. Entire 7-day week, mind you. Glad I don't have that anymore.
Oh my God. It's the worst. Because I also had to use a Super Plus.
Yeah. It's rough. It's rough. So, I mean, yeah.
It makes me think of that movie Mean Girls where she's like, it's not my fault I have a wide set vagina and a heavy flow.
And a heavy flow.
Quote Mean Girls.
I love Mean Girls.
But yeah, I mean, there's just so much there's so much behind it for women's like vaginal health and all of that a lot of women don't know about. And they, like there's those fucking gummies that are out right now that are like, take this. There's the one gummy that's out that's like, or no, it's maybe it's a salve or something like that. Anyways, it's something and it's like, so your ass doesn't smell like ass anymore. And I'm like, it's ass. Yes. I'm going to send it to you.
Really?
Yep. There's gummies out there to help your coochie smell more like peppermint or some bullshit like that. Like, it's just like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it's supposed to work. It's just not. Like, it's literally self-regulating. You can, and it has been proven, I can pull up the articles and put them on because I've read this on PubMed, that you can literally go and not wash your coochie, as disgusting as that sounds to me.
Yeah, that sounds rough.
But you cannot wash your coochie for a whole week, wear the same underwear for a whole week, and you're not going to get a yeast infection. You're not going to get a UTI. You're not going to get any of that. Like, because it's not... the whole ecosystem down there is Don't do that. You ain't gonna get a smell.
Yeah, you have a smell.
But don't do that. I mean, like, but also that's how, like, that's been proven that's
your body's going to do its thing naturally.
Exactly.
You'll be fine.
Exactly. Now the main topic I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are we going to?
Squirting.
Can
we talk about how that? I need you to describe it, because if I describe it, I'm gonna get very animated. And I'm gonna get mad because I'm tired of.
What do you mean describe it? How do you want me to describe it?
Like what it actually is.
Oh, girl, I needed to pull up the things. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I just know that it is.
Spleen gland.
It's a spleen. Spleen. Wow. SKLENE gland mixed with a bunch of other shit, partly urine, that comes out of your body.
Yes.
During sexy time.
During fucking.
But there's always the great debate, and Shelby will definitely take us through this. But there's always a great debate about like if it's pee, if it's not pee, if there's pee in it, if there's not pee in it, what is it really, what does it do, all that. And there's been articles, there's scholarly articles, there's people's think pieces, there's all types of stuff that really talk about. They've done research, they've done test subjects, which are small groups of people because this is not. It's different for everybody. But they've done different studies to determine like what actually happens when a person with a coochie squirts.
Yes.
And one of the articles that I read actually showed that, okay, when they tested it, they saw that there was the PSA, is it PSA?
The prostate
something. Antigen. There we go. So there's a prostate specific antigen that the PSA that is secreted along with a couple of other things that they found in these tests. So they would collect it. They would pretty much what they would do is they would have women empty their bladders. Actually, let me kind of go back. The first test that they did was determine where the squirt was coming from. So they did this study. They had women empty their bladders. They injected them with like a color like blue fluid, and then they stimulated them and they had them squirt, and they would collect that sample and then they would test it. And from that test, they determined that for one, yes, it absolutely does come from the bladder, but for two, that it has different things that are part of it. So to make this mixture, so it had the PSA, it had like a little bit of urine, it had a couple of other things combined that came out in the fluid. Now if it was over a certain amount, which Shelby will get more into, it was mostly one thing over another.
Yes.
So
here's what happens. The spleen glands are technically called the female prostate. You have two of them. They're very tiny little beans. And the spleen glands will secrete this, what's called an ejaculation.
That's what I was trying to think of the word.
Yes.
Ejaculation.
It's called an ejaculation. And what happens is you will have no more than about 2 mLs. And I don't know if you know how much 2 mLs is, but it's like very small amount, right? That's it. That is what's considered the ejaculation. And up to about 5 mLs normally, if you do squirt or if you have squirted or anything else like that. The rest is urine, and I think that's actually pretty much it.
Yeah, they had the one that I saw had creatinine.
Creatinine, yeah.
Well, that's in the.
But that's also in the urine. Yeah. So, all of that's urine. So you have this tiny bit of secretion, then you have urine. Now, because I thought I had a problem for a long time because I don't squirt. Like, I don't do that. And when I do, it's not very often and it takes a lot. And like, men really be in there and like just really try to make it happen. And I'm just like, stop. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. You're just hurting me. On a rare occasion, I have. And what that is like when you have women who are out here on porn sites and stuff like that, or like women who even squirt a lot, because they did a whole study on this. Women who squirt a lot, if it's anything more than 5 mLs, the rest is urine. It's all pee. So men are out here getting super amped to be pissed on.
I mean, hey, you like what you like.
Which is great. But also understand that, because I've had men tell me like, my previous situationship was like, no, it's female ejaculation and all this other stuff, and it comes from the vagina. And I'm like, no, it comes from the urethra. It comes from the urethra, and most of it comes from your bladder. Now, he's an idiot.
Yeah, he didn't.
He's an idiot. Yeah, there's not a fourth hole in the vaginal canal to make this happen. That's not what happens. It comes from the urethra. So they actually did a whole study on these women, and it was maybe about I wanted to say like the cohort was about 50 to 60 women. All of these women have claimed and tested that, and like stated specifically that they do, when they squirt, it is a lot. It is a well over 5 mLs, and they do squirt a lot. So they also tested to make sure that they weren't incontinent and all of this other stuff to kind of make sure that the cohort was solid and there were no like variables and stuff like that that could skew the data. So anyways, they had these women empty their bladder, kind of similar to what you were talking about, empty the bladder, And then they would, penetrate them or do whatever was needed, whatever stimulation was needed to make them squirt. Then they collected that, they tested it, so on and so forth. Most of it was urine. But what they did after was they did an ultrasound to see if the bladder was full, because they were like, they did an ultrasound before, made sure the bladder was completely empty, and then it did an ultrasound after. What they found was that what's most likely possible is that what's happening, especially if like you urinate and then you have sex and you are squirt a lot, what's happening is that the orgasm is causing some sort of reaction in your bladder to cause it to refill more rapidly. Because you have to remember, you have those nerves all down there, all thousands of nerves that are down there, and everything is literally right on top of the other.
Right.
You have your bladder, and then right behind the bladder is the fucking vaginal canal and the uterus with the ovaries. So it's literally right there, very compact. So everything's all together. And this is what it causes. Like, essentially, like, your bladder refills. And so a lot of the times, like these porn stars and stuff like that, most of the time, if you look closely, and there was a whole study done on this, but most of the time when you look closely, they are actually putting water into their vaginas and pushing it out, causing it to do the stream. So I used to think that I was fucking weird for not being able to do these things, but actually not everybody can, because maybe my nerves are different.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not everybody can do it.
I do it sometimes. It's really nice.
I enjoy
But that's why the orgasm is like really intense, is because you're having an orgasm that's intense enough to make your bladder refill.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Look at you go. Okay, bitch.
I'm a fan.
Love that for you. But yeah, so I mean, it's just, but there's so much stigma behind like women having to be, and their vaginas having to be a particular way to satisfy a man.
Oh, yeah.
No, but primarily with society, it's to satisfy a man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? That is what it is. Everything is built around satisfying a penis. A penis is actually not needed in any fucking way for us to have an orgasm, to squirt, to have a really good orgasm, or anything like that. It's not necessary.
It helps.
It's nice. It's very nice, but it's not necessary. So the fact that, I don't know, I get super passionate about this because I get so upset that, not that young girls need to be learning about squirting or anything like that, but they know nothing of their anatomy.
Yeah, and thinking that they're broken because they can't do these things, or everybody can't do that. That's just not how their bodies work, because everybody's body is different.
Exactly.
It's just what it is.
Exactly.
But then, in the same token, people that are able to squirt are sometimes made to feel that they're weird. You know what I mean? Because you do have a lot of people that are like, that's gross, or blah, 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 and you're just like,
really?
Okay.
God, I like making women squirt. I do. Because I like my men and my women, so I do like making women. It's hot as shit.
Some people don't like it. I mean, I don't know if it's still the same as it was, but a few years ago, it was like, oh, that's nasty.
That's weird.
Yeah. I'm like,
That's weird. Get it, girl. You just gotta find the person that's gonna like you for you.
Yep.
But now, off my soapbox of squirting. It's not real, it's pee. But yeah, so it's just, I don't know.
Yes. I was going to say, I mean, there's yes, but there is in small doses, it's a mixture of things. Absolutely. In small doses. If it is a whole water park that's coming out of the coochie, yes, that's going to be probably majority pee. But like, that's okay. You did a job well done, and you should be very proud of yourself.
Absolutely.
It's like
that's a very
gift.
Intense orgasm.
Yeah, it's like a little gift at the end of an intense session. You should be very happy.
Very happy.
Very happy
As
with
you
yourself.
Should. As you should.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think like for young women, that's why I love the Vagina Bible so much, is because it taught me so much about myself that I didn't even know was a thing. You know what I mean? And this is an MD. This is a doctor who has dedicated her life to this practice. Yeah. And going in and out, and she even states in her book, she's like, I meet so many people that don't even know, women too, what is the clit? Some women have never looked at their vaginas.
That is something that I learned I want to say probably in my 20s.
Yeah.
To look at my own coochie to see, because if you watch porn, or if you look at, like, if you've seen other people's coochies and you'd be like, damn, my shit don't look like that, or my shit looks whatever, and you're like, well, maybe something's wrong. No, they all look different.
They all look different.
They all do look different.
Everybody's looks different. Some are tucked in. Some hang out a little bit more. Yeah. Some, are just...
Some clits are huge. Some clits are not.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you got going on down there. Yeah. But they're all beautiful.
Mm-hmm. They are all beautiful.
And they all work.
They all work.
And if you're worried about a man, as long as you got a hole that works, they're going to be okay.
Yeah. Facts.
They'll be okay.
Facts. I can't say all of them work. Some people actually do suffer from certain
No,
shit.
No,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But I'm like, yeah. I don't know. Women, ladies, please... Go learn more about yourself if you don't know. If you're still douching, stop it.
Put a little mirror down there and see what it looks like.
Yes.
Explore your body. Explore it and see, like, how you feel about certain things. That's one of the big things, too, is, like, seeing what you like and what you don't like will help you tremendously.
Yeah.
When you're intimate with somebody.
Yes.
And just, explore your body and see how you feel about it, what it looks like to you, and what it feels like to you, and what you like to see, and what you would want to be done, and all of those things.
Yes.
Because you may discover, like, some things that you've maybe had done in the past. You're like, I don't care for that. That's not for me.
Yeah.
Just explore it. But learn yourself. Take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
And, don't worry about what society is trying to tell you when it comes to your body. It's just not a one size fits all.
It's not.
It's just really not.
It's not. And don't do anything dramatic to try to conform to please another person.
Yeah.
If you have, like, issues going on, go see an OBGYN. That's what you need to see, is a specialized doctor. So that you can get things checked out and taken care of. But please don't go off and do, douche because you think that that's what it's going to be, because you need to clean out whatever yeast infection you have. That's actually going to make your yeasty worse.
Yeah. So you bake bread in that hole.
You can bake a whole... It's a whole bakery. It'll be a whole bakery after that.
So so that was our talk on coochies. It was a short talk, but it was an informative talk, and we hope that you learned something. If you didn't, do your own research.
Facts.
Like Shelby mentioned about the Vagina Bible, we'll put that in the in the video so you can see it. You can see where to find it, all that good stuff if you're interested.
Yes.
Oddly enough, I knew a person who wanted to know more about the female anatomy, and he read a book.
I love that.
He read a book on how to eat coochie.
Yes.
He read a book on just kind of like pretty much just how to make a coochie feel good.
Yeah.
And he was very talented.
Yes. A book about the cunnilingus. Yes.
I thought it was a joke. I did. I was like, that's really funny. And he was like, no, for real. Like, I really did. And I was like, good for you.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, he was
Some woman is really enjoying that mouth.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't bless you.
Yeah.
Whoever you are.
Yes.
He was looking out for you.
Yeah. Facts. I wonder how many people have watched videos on how to eat coochie.
But yeah. Hope you guys learned some things. Check out some information. Follow us on TikTok, Insta, YouTube, subscribe, and all that good stuff.
Yes.
We are enjoying our time with you guys, and we hope you guys are enjoying our talks.
Absolutely. And we like talking to you guys. And we appreciate all the feedback that everybody gives us, which is almost 99.9% of the time really positive.
Yeah.
We do need to get our little social media under control, but
we're working on it.
Yeah, we're figuring it out.
We are figuring it out the best way that we know how.
The best that we know how. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, like, follow, share, and subscribe. We are on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. If you do see anything that we share, if you don't mind reposting or anything like that, that would be great, just to help us kind of build a little bit of more of a following. But we appreciate you guys. Also, if you have any questions or you need any recommendations on OBGYNs or gynecologists in the area, if you prefer a male or female or stuff like that, I actually have a whole list because I did a whole thing. Deidre also has quite a bit of recommendations as well.
And I was going to say, before we go, whoever you go to, male or female, it's definitely a personal preference.
Absolutely.
I actually go to a male. And I know you go to a woman.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on how you feel.
Yeah. So, and who you want to go to. But yeah, I've got a ton of resources, and Deidre always has resources and stuff like that. So if you need anything, we're here for you, ladies. And men, if you want to learn about the vagina.
people with vaginas.
Or people with vaginas. If
you got a vagina and you want to learn some information, or if you don't have a vagina,
or if you have a dick, or if you don't care and you just want some information on some random shit, we'll be happy to supply that.
Yeah. And you can look super cool in front of people with vaginas.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We love you guys. Thanks for being with us. Bye.